Alright you guys, so we're gonna get straight to it, no time to waste. So I'm starting out with this wig cap. You can find this at your local beauty supply store. I'm placing this on my mannequin head, and I placed 2 T-pins down at the bottom to create the shape of like the back of my head's hairline. So now I'm grabbing my frontal, and you guys can see right here I'm folding it in half. I cut a slit right at the middle point of the frontal in the lace so that I could line it up with the center of the wig cap on the mannequin head. This is going to make sure that everything is centered and even so we don't have a lopsided frontal. Once that first T-pin is secured in the lace in the front, I just go to the back of the frontal, grab another T-pin and secure the back as well. I then go in and secure both sides of the frontal where the wig cap ends. After that, I take this silver marker and I outline where my frontal is. These T-pins are pretty much going to keep it in place, but with me, something always goes haywire when I'm making a wig. So I just want to make this line right here so that I can stay on track when I'm sewing. Once I get the frontal outline, I start at the bottom of the wig cap and start drawing horizontal lines across just as a guide for when I sew down my bundles. So this was my first time actually doing this, so my lines are really janky and I didn't space them out the best, but it still helped me out so much when it came to sewing on the bundles. So I highly recommend doing this. So now I am going to sew down the frontal, which to me is pretty much the easiest part of the whole process. I first take my threaded needle and take it through the end of the frontal. I take it through the top part of that material on the wig cap, not through the elastic band, just through the top part. And once I get it through there, I create a loop with the thread and pull the needle through to make sure that it is tight. I do that over the same area about 2 or 3 times to make sure everything is locked and secured in place. And then I pretty much just continue that same process all across the end of that frontal. So I go through the frontal, through the wig cap, pull the needle between the thread through that loop, and then pull tight to secure it. So once I start getting close to the other end of the frontal, I pretty much just do what I did when starting off the sewing on the other side of the frontal. So I go over the same spot about 2 or 3 times, and once I feel that it is super secure, I go in with my scissors to cut the thread, and then I make 2 knots in the thread just by tying, you know, a little knot there, just to lock everything in place. Okay, you guys, so we're going to switch over from the voiceover and make this part a talk through so that I can really walk you guys through my step. I am no professional by any means, but I do want to share with you guys what I do because it is like beginner friendly. So pretty much you guys saw last night I stitched down my frontal. I really took my time to do it neat so that it'll be smooth and flat and we wouldn't have any additional like lumps or bumps because we don't want that. After sewing down my frontal, I went ahead and started sewing my bundle, starting from the bottom and working my way up, and I just basically followed the lines on this wig cap. So far I have used all but this little bit of 3 bundles. So the 2/28s are down the bottom, this is the 26, and then this is what is remaining of the third 26-inch bundle. Now looking at it, I am going to have to go in and cut in that last 4th bundle, which I really hate because I don't need that much more, but I don't want like this much space either. But yeah, that's something small, so let's just go ahead and get to it. So my needle and thread is still threaded from this last little weft that I sewed on. When I get to the end of the weft, I do not cut the thread. I used to do that and then restart, but I realized that that is so time consuming and it's really a waste of time. So I just left this on there and then just pinned that there to keep up with it. So taking this bundle here, or this piece of weft, I'm going to measure it out against this line here. I'm going to go a little bit under the line because I did draw this one kind of wide, so it's not as even from here to here as from here to here. So I'm just going to trace this on, and I think it's honestly almost a perfect fit. Yeah, it's a little over on this side here, but it is pretty much spot on. So what I'm going to do is take my needle right here, you guys. I'm going to just trace this line across here because I didn't draw it that way, but just follow it here and just go down just a little bit. I'm going to take the needle and put it through the cap. Once I put the needle through the cap, I am going to go in and put the needle through the sewn part of this weft right here. Now, there are a few things that I did that a lot of people wouldn't recommend for you guys to do. One, which is cutting my wefts. I personally cut my wefts because the last time that I was doing the flip over method with hair that was this long, it just made the wig look kind of weird and bulky. Longer hair is a bit thinner, so I just wanted everything as flat as possible. So I did cut my wefts. It can increase shedding, but I feel like wigs shed naturally anyway over time, so I didn't really care. Also, another thing people may not recommend is actually going through the weft. Once again, it can induce shedding, but for me, that is just something I really don't care about. So I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go through the 2 pieces, which is a lot more difficult than it seems. I'm just going to pull it through there. And I'm pulling my thread slowly because a lot of times it'll get bunched up and get a little tangled. So just take your time. Like, you don't have to be in a rush. You want it to look good, okay? And I'm going to go under through the wig cap again and then through that weft one more time just to make sure everything is secure in place. And then we're going to just slowly pull, make sure your thread doesn't get tangled up. If you get the nylon thread, it definitely won't give you those problems of like getting caught and tangled, because it'll be able to just slide right through without any problems. But this is all that they had in my beauty supply store. Just like, I don't know what material this is, so it's a little janky. So now I've taken the needle, I've gone through the wig cap, I've gone under the weft instead of through it, because now we're about to like start rocking and rolling, y'all. So pretty much what I do is once I get the needle through there, I'll take this loop of my thread and throw it over the needle and then pull tight. So can you guys see this so far, how it's looking? All the way across, really flat. Okay, so now that we're down here on this end, obviously this overlaps. I can pull this up and around, but I really don't want to. I want to keep everything uniform, so I am going to cut this little piece off like that and just pull it out here. Okay. So even though the wig is flipped upside down for me now, it's the same process. So go through the wig cap, under the weft, flip the thread over the needle, and then pull and lock and secure it in place. Now that we're at the end of the weft right here, we basically do what we did in the beginning. We go through the cap, through the weft this time, and set up around it. Like I said, which is not the easiest thing to do. Pull that needle through, put the thread, flip the thread over the needle, and then pull tight. And it is locked and secured into place. And I do like to go through it twice, just personal preference. This will also help it lay down super flat. Pull that through, and then make the loop. And then there we go. So at this point, I am just about out of thread, and this is definitely not going to be enough to do this top part. I'm going to have to rethread it anyway. So let me just go ahead and cut this off here to show you guys how I would end it out. So once I cut that, and I make sure that I keep it pretty long so that I can actually tie it. If you cut it down here really short, you won't be able to knot it with your fingers, especially if you have long nails, okay? So I'm just going to knot that like boom. And let me just go ahead and knot it twice because somebody likes to pull my hair. I'm not gonna name no names. So we're going to do this, knot it twice. And there we have it. So I did try to sew on the last weft with you guys on camera, but I totally got out of focus. But I went ahead and just repeated all the steps I just did with my final weft right up against that frontal. So now you guys see me with the wig on my head. I actually haven't even cut out the wig cap underneath it. I just wanted to place it on to show you guys how beautiful this frontal is, and also these bundles are from Nadula Hair. It just looks so good. You can see as I'm cutting off the lace, it is really nice and transparent. So if you guys want to see how I fully install this unit, how I customize my frontal, definitely stay tuned for part 2 of this Nadula Hair installation video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and of course, as usual, I will see you all in my next one.